Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN 1491, and it is a 2016 083, which is ultra white with LA30 red interior. It's for sale on OfferUp, and if you don't know what OfferUp is, it's sort of like an app-based Craigslist is a way to think of it. But you can list anything and everything for sale, and so here we have a 2016 GSF on OfferUp, and there's actually 3 of them in Southern California right now, so I'm going to do videos on the other 2 as well. But it's for sale on OfferUp in West Covina, California, and it's been a California car its whole life. It has 104,000 miles, and they're asking $45,000. Sounds pretty fair, so let's dive into it, see what we can find. Production statistics: 648 out of the 2,348 cars for the US, 49 everywhere except Hawaii were ultra white. 361 had LA30 red interior. It's the most common color. 15.3% of all of the production was this color combo, like a 1 out of 10 for rarity. It's as common as they come. 2016, 372 out of the 1,418 cars were ultra white. 214 had LA30 red interior, so 1 of 214 at its rarest. In the GSF world, very common. This is not like a 1 of 3, 1 of 8, 1 of 30, something like that. This is 1 of 214. Carfax, Epic VIN, and Auto Check. So Carfax shows this as a 4-owner, no accident car. Good to see there. Epic VIN shows this as a 4-owner, no accident car. And Auto Check also shows this as a 4-owner, no accident car. So I think it is safe to assume this is a clean title, 4-owner, no accident, California-driven car its whole life. Previous sales. So this car first went on sale in September of 2016, $88,000 in California, and it sold in just under 2 weeks as a lease to its first owner. And then in August of 2018, so it must have been like a 2-year lease, $62,000 in California with 4,000 miles, L certified, and it sold in 3 weeks also to a buyer in California. April of 2022, $58,000 in California with 63,000 miles on it at Freeman Lexus, and it sold in June of 2022. So like 2 months for sale, and also again to a buyer in California. Also around that same time, it was in my wholesale dealer groups for sale, May of 2022, and they noted that it has paint protection film on the front, as you can see right here. So another good thing to see. And then it looks like it was traded in somewhere around September or October of 2023 with 90,500 miles, and they sent it to wholesale dealer auction. So then it went to auction. Somebody bought it at wholesale auction, and it went for sale November of 2023 for $43,000 with 91,000 miles in Covina, California. And it sold in under a month to the 4th owner, which is the current owner in California also. So now here it is, March of 2026, for sale on OfferUp in West Covina, California. $45,000 with 104,000 miles on OfferUp, as I said. So now into the photos. I'm not sure, based on the photos, it doesn't have any other information if it comes with the stock wheels or if it comes with the aftermarket wheels that you see. It has a chrome delete, has black mirrors, so it's either got 2020 model year mirrors or they're wrapped in black vinyl, probably the latter. What I did notice, when it was for sale in 2022, it had the carbon fiber fender vent accents, which are those. And you notice in the photos now, it doesn't have them. However, the spot where they used to be is yellow. And that's usually because those were probably placed on top of the existing paint protection film that was on it. And it looks like it probably still has the paint protection film, but it discolors. The adhesive is acidic, or can be. And so the adhesive discolored the paint protection film that was on it. So speaking of paint protection film, the max life that you should expect to leave that on your car is 7 to 10 years. This car is almost 10 years old. If I were purchasing this, I would probably, at a very minimum, remove the paint protection film, but I would remove it and replace it. You've heard me in other videos. I'm a big advocate for paint protection film. This car has it, my blue car has it, our Land Cruiser has it. It does great things for preserving paint, and it's not preserving it for the next guy. It's keeping it looking nice all the time, so you don't have to get it repainted. But really, for over 100,000 miles, this car looks in really great shape, and it's likely due to the paint protection film on it too. I mean, give credit where it's due. But as I said, it's probably original. I would probably replace it, especially because you can see it's discoloring. As far as the price goes, with 105,000 miles-ish, it is a clean title, no accident, California car. I would probably put this in the mid to lower 40s. So the asking price of 45 is not too far off of where I would expect it to see. as long as the service history, everything else is backed up. Now, if it needs brakes, tires, a bunch of catching up on service, then it's probably needs to be a little bit less than that. If it has delaminating carbon fiber on the interior, it needs to be a little less than that. So there's certain things that will drive the price down, but 45 is probably a good starting point, but I think it's probably just a hair too high in my opinion. So now into the service history. Well, okay, I just talked about it. This car is not very well dealer maintained since 2020 and 28,000 miles. So like the last 70 plus thousand miles and 6 years, don't really know what's going on. So there is a lot of questions in that regard. So the first entry of note is May of 2018. The JLB recall was done. That's the high pressure fuel pumps. Good to see that's done. August of 2018, certified pre-owned prep. Doesn't go into details. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they repaint bumpers, paintless dent repair, do curb rash repair, interior repairs, things like that are needed to bring it up to CPO, certified pre-owned, L certified specifications. December of 2018, so now the vehicle had sold to its next owner and the new owner brought it in and said the vehicle is punchy in sport mode and it shifts hard. That's how sport mode is. It's more aggressive, changes the transmission behavior. Nothing found, no code stored. It's doing what it's supposed to. October of 2019, a complaint about excessive brake dust and noise, and there is a service bulletin that Lexus offers. I think it's called LSB 13-16 or something along those lines. I don't have it memorized. But what that is it replaces the brakes with a lower dust, lower noise brake pad, but it's still a Brembo pad. And a lot of these 16s early on had that done because people complained about the noise. And I think later on, they just all had the updated version. At 20,000 miles, it got new pads and rotors. So, you know, that's about the only time I've seen that the brakes have been replaced on this car, but I hope they've been replaced since then. October of 2019, the low pressure fuel pump was reprogrammed. So that's the humming or buzzing that you hear in the back seat. That's already done. January of 2020, they noticed a buzzing noise coming from underneath, and they found that there was a heat shield that was slightly bent, so they bent it back, noise went away. However, a few days later, they came back and said they had the issue yet again, and they found nothing. So I don't know if that's something that was a long time ago, so I probably wouldn't worry about that. It probably doesn't have that issue anymore. March of 2020, all tires are noted as having shoulder wear, and I would assume that's another word for inner tire wear, but some of them you do see it on the outsides, especially on the fronts if it's driven hard or something, but it's usually interior tire wear on the fronts, inner tire wear on the back. But it doesn't say they were replaced there, so I would assume they got replaced somewhere, Discount Tire or some other place like that. So that's really the last service, but there is a note on April of 2022, a safety check by the selling dealer at 63,000 miles, and they noted that front pads were at 9 millimeters, rear pads were at 7 millimeters, but rear rotors were beyond the minimum thickness. So it needs rear rotors, but they were not replaced here, and it looks like they did an oil change as well, probably in preparation for sale. So that's it. There's nothing else on the Carfax, nothing else on the Lexus service history, nothing else on the auto check. So there's nothing basically since 2020. You have that one oil change in 2022, but that's really it. I'm hoping there's still some maintenance, that maybe it was done at a shop that just doesn't report to Carfax or AutoCheck, or it's done DIY, or it's not done. I hope it's not the case, but there's a lot of questions with the service history. So what's not done? The carbon fiber trim on the interior is original, unless it's been replaced DIY or otherwise. The ZLZ has not been done. That's the sticky, deformed, delaminating dash. Basically the sticky dash. 10 years from the in-service date is what that's covered for. August 16th of 2016 was the in-service date. So you have until August 16th of 2026. So you have a few more months to get that covered. Front and lower control arm bushings. We already saw the complaint about inner tire wear. So I would definitely look at that further. Brakes and tires. Don't know how old the brakes are. Don't know how old the tires are, but I hope they're not still running on the ones from 20,000 miles. I highly doubt it. Nothing about the 60,000 mile service at 60,000 miles. And this car is working on being due for the 120,000 mile service. But at over 100,000 miles, I would start looking at things like belts, tensioners, idler pulleys, coolant, water pump, things like that. You start to need to look at those a little bit closer, just kind of pay attention to them. They don't need to be replaced unless they're making noise. Lexus at the 100,000 mile service, they changed the coolant. Don't see where that's done here, but at that service, they kind of do an in-depth inspection around that area. The the water pump, the tensioners, the belt. Sometimes you see a lot of belt replacements at 100,000 miles, but I don't see where any of that's been done on this car. The fluids in it, torque vectoring differential, TVD, transmission service, don't see where that's been done. The valley plate, as always, would not be surprised in the slightest if the valley plate on this car was leaking. So if you're gonna look at this car, you know, if it's a private seller, so meet them at a dealer, at a Lexus dealer, and pay the couple $100 for a pre-purchase inspection. Have them inspect the valley plate, have them look at the front lower control arm bushings, the usual things, but look at the water pump, look at the belt condition, things like that. That's when they get up higher mileage, and this isn't really high miles, but when they get up to this kind of mileage, you need to start looking at rubber parts with age and wear. I also don't see where the KLG was done, so that is the GPS location update. So if you're gonna still use the factory nav, the navigation unit, then it probably needs this update. If you don't, if you're gonna put a CarPlay or an Android Auto in, you know, don't worry about it. HVAC servo sweep, that hasn't been done on this car, so if you're gonna go check this car out, make sure it's fully warmed up. The two triangles on the temperature gauge, make sure they're both in the middle, and one side to max hot, one side to max cold. Cycle through everything, flip sides, make sure everything responds like it should. If not, there is an updated programming for that, but if it still has issues, then you have to replace some of the servos. So overall, it has pretty good bones, but again, the big one on this one would be the service history. So the current owners owned it for a while, so prove up the service history, what's been done, or disclose some of that in the for sale ad. You know, that would probably be easier. Just say, hey, you know, it's had the coolant done, it's had the transmission done, here's when the brakes were done. That's all it really needs. And then, you know, that would satisfy me to say, okay, well, as long as the 60K service or the spark plugs, you know, the other things, as long as that's all been done and oil changes have been done on time, then I have no problem with it. So that brings me to, would I buy this car? I would, pending the service history and pending a pre-purchase inspection. I would not be surprised if the valley plate's leaking, if it needs brakes and tires. These cars always need brakes and tires when they come up for sale. And so that's something to look at and set money aside. So if it's $45,000 that he's asking, you're gonna try to get it for a little bit less. You know, let's say 42. It needs new brakes, new tires. Now it's in the upper 30s. It needs the valley plate. Now it's getting towards the mid 30s. So it needs the carbon fiber trim. So it's still around the mid 30s. If it needs all that, the usual things that these cars need, brakes, tires, valley plate, carbon fiber trim, if it needs that, then 45 is too high. I would try to get it according to what it still needs. But the big one for me would be prove up the service history, and then you've probably got a pretty good car here. It's got paint protection film on the front. Speaking of, probably need to replace that. So that could be another $1,500 or so, maybe more than that, because you have to remove it. There's some money that would need to be put into this car, but you kind of have to expect it. You know, it has over 100,000 miles. It's 10 years old. You're going to have to put some money into it. That's just part of the game, but it appears to have good bones, and it could potentially be one of the good ones. You know, there's so many of these out there that are basket cases. This doesn't feel or look like that's the case, but just bring the maintenance up to date. That would be the only other thing. So that's what I've got for you guys. Thanks again for watching. This is VIN 1491. We'll see you soon.